Okay, members and friends.
What?
Oh, I'm just doing my little video here with my vegetables from the garden. Listening to you guys about making some sort of little thing that this just moves along real slow. It's not bouncing around, disturbing the viewer. Anyway, as you can see, I'm still growing food. It's November 10th, and the food is still growing in my garden. So I am dehydrating some of it so it doesn't go to waste. These are really good. Okay, so that's what little kale I got left in the middle of November. I've already done a big jar. And now I pulled out the beets. They didn't really grow that well because my daughter was kind of, you know, weeding in there, and I don't know. Some of them didn't grow that well, but I'll definitely do something with some of these leaves and their stalks, right? So hold on. So moving along, as you can see, these are the beet leaves, right? And their ends. There's my onions, still dehydrating. There's my little bit of beets from the yard. Anyway, we'll be back. I got some carrots too. Hold on. Okay, members and friends, I'm in the greenhouse, and things are growing like mad in here. It's like Jack and the Beanstalk. I can't believe it. The onions are like shooting up. Look at this thing. The onions are just growing like crazy. I just put these things in these little pots just the other day, and they're already taking shoot. These are shooting. You can see them. They're healthy. They're shooting. This is fennel, right? Caught root. Look at these onions. They're just coming up all over the place in here. Look at this one. Like some of these onions are going like 2-3 inches a night or something. It's crazy. And garlic. I found some garlic in the garden that wasn't growing, so I just stuffed them in here. Look at these things. Look. They're perky. And they're very, very tasty. They like it in here. I put some strawberry plants that were blooming in my garden. So we're just going to see what they do. We'll see if they grow anymore. Right? That's starting to perk up a little bit. Yeah. Kale is getting bigger. The one outside, though, had aphids again, so I take it outside. But these ones so far seem to be okay. But it's like Jack and the Beanstalk. My little lettuce died in there, so I ended up just putting some more strawberries, as you can see, right? There's some lettuce right there. Let's see if we get lettuce out of that. Where's the other one? But this is crazy. I can't believe this onion. Let's see. Today's November 12th. Let's see how much it grows by tomorrow night. Just out of curiosity. Be back. Look, little flowers. And blooming flowers. Okay, so every bean that grows, there's a rat in the hood or somewhere. Look at this. Something made a nest. Huh? Something found its way in here. Found it nice and cozy. So tomorrow I'm going to have to take care of that shit. Anyway, you know, no money these days, right? Gas is so expensive, hydro's so expensive. And I seen something on YouTube to make a little kind of a something to keep your room warm. So I'm going to do a little experiment here and try that out. But in the meantime, this is looking pretty nice in here. Everything is happy camper. It's growing, sprouting like crazy in here. This is the first time I've had a greenhouse, so this is quite interesting, really. But, yeah, so we'll be back. Okay, members and friends, I'm changing up the script here. Today is November 14th, 2013. I registered my nonprofit on November 13th, 2001. I'm not the one that chose that date. The registers of companies chose that date. Anyway, I've been working on this nonprofit for a long time. Obviously, I started before it was actually registered. That's usually how it works for nonprofits. The reason I'm showing you this food is because I'm sure glad I did that food storage when I had a chance. Because I'm going into survival mode here. Today is November 14th, 12 years and 1 day after I founded a nonprofit for all the right reasons, and I got cut off of welfare over child support. As if my life isn't hard enough as it is. They wanted me to reapply, even though I have, a form there that says I have, multiple barriers, which I do have. And hold on a minute. It's always nice to look at somebody sometimes, right? So I'm in a dilemma, right? This is not the first time I've been cut off of welfare. 2003, I've said it in my videos in the past, 5 dependent kids, all under the age of 17. My oldest son was just transferring from one high school into another high school just so he could play football. Boom, lost my house. Lived there for 7 years. Ask my kids, each and every one of them will tell you it was the best years that they ever had. Okay. And then I think I went back 2005 or 2006 to put another application in, right? And they were dicking around and just whatever, and it's like, I think I had a trust fund for one of my children to go to school, like my son, my younger son, right? He's in school, he's in college. And they wanted to take that away. And I said, no, you've already taken away so much. So they never approved my application. I couldn't appeal or nothing. So I went like 6 years without welfare and went into 40 grand in debt, which is the equivalent of, I think, 6 years in welfare. And I worked on the nonprofit that whole time. And most of that debt the nonprofit owes me. But I'll never get it back, right? It's a joy working for free in BC. Promoting universal school meal programs and children's programs and youth programs and, this program and that program, right? And be all cheery, right? So in the last few months, my youngest daughter is 15 going on 16 in January. And for the last 5 months, I've been getting child support all of a sudden after all these years. And I'm going to the office now. There was 2 months when I didn't hand it in, my stub. 1 month. Because I knew they said, well, it's dollar for dollar. So if he gives you $1, we take $1. Right? So there's $5,000 and something. I added it up. I don't know where it is. So that's the equivalent of 4 to 5 months of no welfare. And I've already, there's been 4 months without welfare. And I don't know. He's telling me in December the maintenance is going back to $100. So there's not going to be no maintenance in December. That's what he's telling me. But every month I'm going and I'm saying, here, I keep my file, because they're saying, well, you don't need welfare, we're closing your file. And I'm like, well, what do you mean you're closing my file? You can't depend on the maintenance. I don't know from one day to the next when it's coming, how much, if it's coming. You're taking it for dollar anyway. What does it matter if you close my file? You keep it open. Because I don't know. He's telling me I'm not going to get it. And they're closing my file. And then they're saying, but you have to come in and reapply now. And I'm like, reapply for what? Oh, well, you're closing your file, and you should try to blame me for it yet. You didn't hand in your stub. I said, wouldn't hand in my stub. You wouldn't take my stub. What are you talking about? Well, you were supposed to be here at 9 o'clock in the morning. No, you said, worst comes to worst, if I feel like I need welfare, social assistance, whatever you want to call it, charity, government charity, the entitlement program. If I feel I need that by the 14th for next month, which is December, which I'm being told by the person who's paying child support that I'm only getting $100 and I'll be losing that off my check because it's dollar for dollar anyway. Fucking right, I'm going to need welfare check next month if I qualify. Because maybe it's still too much. And I have to wait another month. The month of December, the month that they kicked out my daughter, right? You know what I'm saying? They kicked out my daughter December 11th. Isn't this interesting? December of 2013, I ain't got a fucking welfare check. My daughter lives in a fucking crack shack, eh? With the rest of the fucking junkies. Apparently the cops rustled her up 2 days ago. She just moved in 4 days ago, 3 days ago. You know, it's a revamped motel. Motel. It's a motel. It's a revamped motel to house low-income people that have to pay over $600 for a one-bedroom when we know their checks are below $600. So don't ask me how that one works. Don't ask me how that's low income, because that doesn't balance out. Well, everybody in there is drug addicted, doing their petty crimes. And the cops are telling my daughter, well, we don't want to see you in this building. Why are you here? We don't want you getting into trouble. We know you've been trying to stay out of trouble, even though you're a junkie. But it's close to home, you know. She can come and take a light bulb if she needs one, which she did. She took several of them. I'm going to tell her, you can't come here and use this as your personal grocery store, because I'm going into survival mode myself. As of today, because it's been confirmed. They closed my file. They threatened to do it yesterday, which was November 13th, 12 years after I founded the nonprofit. But they gave me 1 day grace. And when I showed up at 2 o'clock this afternoon, she said, oh, no, you're too late. You were supposed to be here at 9 o'clock in the morning. And I'm like, am I hearing this right? Okay. So, but you can come back tomorrow and bring in, you know, I'll tell you what to bring in, you know, like, as if it's just a mini, you know, a mini, what do they call it? A mini, you know, when you go in, you have to bring in, you know, 3 months bank statements, you got to bring in your tax notice, you got to bring in, you know, your birth certificate and all this other shit for your kids, you know, blah, blah, blah. They have all that stuff on file. I've already been audited. Nothing's changed. The only thing that's changed is that I'm going deeper into debt and I'm pushing closer to bankruptcy. Because when my dad's wife left, we lost household income there. The only reason I got this house was because of my dad's wife. That's the first thing. So it was easy for her to move in, work me to death, because that's basically what happened, because she didn't do nothing. I was the fucking bitch, right? And then moved out. And she gets the best care on the planet. But she's dying. They keep her alive, though. By any means necessary. They keep her alive. But for people like my daughter and myself, it's the opposite. Honest to God, they're running us into the ground. Yeah, they want us out in the fucking streets in these little crack shack shits so the cops can come and wrestle you up and say, why are you here? Well, I don't know. Ask the social worker. She's the one that kicked me out a year ago. Ask the premier of this province, Christy Clark, right? About why they're cutting my mother off of welfare now, right before fucking December 11th. Right before Christmas. Right before the New Year. Right before court. I got court December 5th with my grandson. The judge is going to ask me, well, Miss Chorney, what do you do? I'll say, well, you know, Your Honor, I work on a nonprofit. I've been doing it for about 14, 13 years now, but it doesn't get me anywhere, and now I'm begging. Oh, there's the phone. Must be my dad's wife. Hold on. No, that wasn't her. What it was with my daughter's school, my middle daughter. I'm kicking her ass out now. I'm off fucking welfare. I've been putting up with your mouth since you've been 12. I'm sick of it. It got real bad when you were 15. And then it was real and running off there for a couple of years. The only reason I've been putting up with your ass, if you ever watch this video, because I don't even know if my girls watch my videos anymore. Because everybody's so desensitized to losing Andre that they just don't fucking care. You know, it's just a gimme, and a gimme. Well, yeah, you okay. You go to school when you want. You can go part-time and pull in A's. That's her brain. She can do that. She's lucky to have that, but she's throwing it away because she wants to. Well, I can have boys over if I want. And you don't even come downstairs that much, so what do you care? You don't pay the rent around here. No, it's Uncle John that does that. I can do what I want. And I'm like, shut up. You either go to school, pull in those freaking A's so you can get a scholarship to get into college and maybe be one of the lucky ones to get out of poverty, since the good Lord blessed you with that book smart. But you sure in the hell ain't got no fucking street smarts, I can tell you that right now. And that's why I'm kicking your ass out, so you can find out what the fucking real world is like. You can't just lay around, use up all the hydro, keep yourself nice and warm, and then go shit on the people that fucking actually pay for that crap. So she's working, right? Part-time now. Well, see, that's another thing. You know, my girls are getting older now, right? And she got a job. And she's still doing good with her grades at this point. Not what I want. I said, get a part-time job, work 2 days a week, and put the other 5 into school. Because the priority is get into that college with the most best grade that you can possibly get, and she can pull in an A. She just doesn't want to. No. Because she's too busy doing something else. So anyway, she got herself a little part-time job. It's not the first time she's had a little job, right? But this is the first time she's in with a major food chain. So there's that structure there, right? And she's been making money, and I'm like, okay. Well, I remember back in 2010, when my son was going to school, don't ask me how this one worked, because what this BC Liberal government tells you and what this BC Liberal government does for a poor person are 2 different things. Honest to God, I swear on a Bible, I swear on my mother's life, okay? Because he never, ever took a year out of school. He was in college, and another one of those, you know, smart, could pull in an A if he wanted to, but settled for something a little less, but still, he's in college, right? Okay. And he never, like, he went from high school to college. There was a window where he was working, but he was still in school. And under their, you know, welfare shit, right? You know, you put a little thing there, how much the kids make. Huh? Because they're allowed to keep their money if they work. Because we want to encourage them to be responsible. We want to encourage them to you know, be productive and that kind of thing. Long story short, they ended up taking $1,000 in monthly increments off the welfare check to pay back $1,000 that they estimated that he owed. Or sorry, that I owed. So they forfeited on their little, well, he's allowed to work, and he's allowed to keep his money, and it won't affect your welfare check. That's what you're being told. But when shit actually happens, no, they'll tell you something else. And they've been taking off that $20 since 2010. Until they get their little $1,000 back or whatever it is that they determined that I owed them because my son was working in the summertime while he was waiting to go to high school. He was still in high school in those days. Well, she's in high school. And she's starting to work, and she's working too much, and I'm like, you're scaring me now. Because if you make too much money, I know how this BC Liberal government works. They're going to take it away. And I'm going to be the one left holding the fucking bag. I'm the one that has to pay the fucking bills around here. I'm the one that's got to make sure there's eggs and cheese and milk and that kind of crap. Fuck, I'm making stupid cat food with old food around here just to feed the damn cats right now. Do they kids care about that? No. No, she's making lots of money, so she roll around in the dough. She's a big bitch now. Well, I'll give you $100, Mom, and that will shut you up because I know you're having a hard time. But as soon as I don't get my own way, I'm going to throw it in your face, and I'm going to make it sound like I gave you $1 million fucking dollars. And I'm saying, just keep your funny money. I have met people like you before. I do not want it. What I want is for your ass to finally fucking move out because I'm sick and tired of your mouth. I'm not obligated to look after a temperamental 18-year-old that thinks she can know everything because she pulled in a fucking A. When she contributes the least around the house. And if you want to grow up and act like those fucking union bitches with the social workers and the people that sit behind the welfare office, well, you go ahead and you go hang out with those people. And while you're doing it, you can go pay your own fucking rent. Because you're almost in the same class already and you haven't even gotten to college yet. So I'm pissed off. I gotta make $45 plus my expenses wherever the fuck I go to go beg on the streets for my $45 little welfare check. That's $45 a day for 30 days. That's the equivalent of a welfare check with my teens at home under the circumstances they are right now. Prior to them taking away my family allowance, my welfare check was $1,663 for 2 fucking teens. Plus I got my baby bonus. Which is, you can't depend on that because I learned that, again, with the BC Liberal government. My daughter, mentioned it before, didn't get a baby bonus. Okay, she thought, fine, I want to save the money so I can pay for the doctor to get my grandson circumcised. So the next month came, she got a double payment, but the government, provincial government, turned around and took off that baby federal bonus off my daughter's welfare check. So she lost 1 month out of a 12-month period of her baby bonus before they took my grandson. And then when they took my grandson, they took everything away. And now we know where she is. As if she needs to be rustled up by the fucking cops for just trying to live. While the other one runs around and thinks she's a fucking big bag of chips, making all this money, waving it in her mother's face, saying, aha, I can bring a boy home if I give you money. No, take your fucking money and leave. Sleep as many boys as you want. I don't give a shit. As for my 15-year-old going on 16, she's a free little girl now. She can do what she wants. And because she has a learning disability, guess what? She's getting a job. And because she is a good human being, I feel pretty damn good about it. And she can bank it. And pay rent. Because that's the responsible thing to do as a family. Because if they don't step up to the plate and help pay rent, there won't be a house to live in. And the ones that don't want to do that can take their funky asses out of here. And I will save on the hydro. And when it comes time to go on December 5th in front of a judge that wants to sit up there and judge me and my family after criminalizing us for a whole fucking year because they were too fucking lazy to look at the paperwork when it was actually submitted to them in the first place. And want to drag this shit out for another fucking 25 fucking years. While the Liberal government goes around fracking the mountains, poisoning the water. You know, running their fucking little pipeline saying, oh yeah, we're doing this for the poor people. We're doing this for the poor people. Take the word poor people out of the vocabulary of the BC government because they don't do jack shit. I'm going to leave it on that note. I'll see you on the streets.